Yo, what's up? It's someone that's no one here today. Today we have Smoke Sesh, I believe number 6. Today's topic, we're just going to jump right into it. Well, of course we gotta light up first, but today's topic is eating versus smoking. Basically we're just gonna break down like pros and cons of the, eating method versus the inhalation method. My experience, what I think is better, and yeah, it's pretty straightforward shit. So today we have a little bit different. Normally in these smoke sessions we have normally a blunt. I believe everyone's been a Dutch up until this point. Today we're switching it up. Today we have the bong out. So yeah, we're gonna take a few rips from that, I guess. I got some bud if we need some more. Don't know exactly how I'm going to do this. I might just take one rip, like one fat ass rip, and just call it that. Or I might just take a few fat ass rips and call it that. We'll see how it goes. Bongs seem to do you pretty right. You don't need a ton. So yeah. Before we jump into this cannabis eating versus inhalation pros and cons list, let's light up. And if you want to join me, feel free. But let's light up. Dying. Alright, let's take one more rip. That shit was big as fuck, if you're wondering. Alright, bet. Alright. We're straight. That was great. So 2 hits in a row. That's pretty good. Took a while to clear up though. It kept on burning. Got that shit packed. But yeah, we're good. So eating versus fucking fucking smoking. So one of the earlier episodes, my favorite way to ingest to smoke, I think, or consume I think it was the first episode though. If you watch that, you'll see that I said I'm pretty sure I said blunts as my favorite way to consume, and that's still pretty true. I much prefer a blunt over pretty much anything else, though recently I have been trying to limit the blunt usage because the tobacco in it, and it's just not something you need all the time. So lately I've been smoking some other things like joints, hemp wraps, things like that. These bongs, to just switch it up and get away from blunts a little bit. But anyways, so eating versus smoking, I can normally make up edibles, and I used to quite a bit. I kind of don't really anymore, just because I feel like just smoking it would just do me right the way I want to be, versus having to make an edible. But there's the pros and cons to it. So let's start the pros and cons of, I guess, the edible. For edibles, we can start with, I guess, pros, I guess. So pros, you don't need a lot of weed for, edibles. To, even if you are making a ton, you don't really need a lot of weed to, get you right. And that's a great thing about edibles. Honestly, for most people, they only need, if you have no tolerance, you probably only need like at most a 0.1. A 0.1, and even with tolerance, a 0.1 would do you pretty good too. But normally I enjoy the 0.2s. I feel like 0.2s do me right in exactly where I want to be, but there's kind of more psychedelic stages where like 0.5s I've done up to grams until shit gets kind of wild and can be a bit overwhelming, especially when you're eating more upwards of a gram and more. It might get you sick because that is quite a bit for edibles when considering. But yeah, that is a great thing though. If you just you want to get your daily high or something, you don't want to use a lot of weed, edibles are a very good method for, spanning out your weed duration before you got to go re-up again. I don't know if it's better than vaping, because I know vaping weed also is a very smart method to use when you're trying to limit your consumption use. But we're talking about smoking combustion for today, not vaping. Vaping will be something else. But yeah, that's great about it. With edibles, the high, another pro I guess you could say, is the high lasts way longer than just smoking it, and I guess it could even get you even more high than just smoking it technically. But the edible high is kind of different and its own, like, high on its own, kind of, in a way. It's still kind of a smoking cannabis high, but then again, it's like on a different level, I feel like. And I don't know, just the fact of eating it and that method of consumption just gives it a different feel and stuff as well. Another pro is this is I guess applies to only certain people though. I know there's certain people out there that just don't like smoking. Just don't like the fact of having to inhale and all this bullshit. Some people just don't like the roughness on their throats. They get dry mouth bad. Well, I guess even if you do eat it, you can still get dry mouth. But smoking can cause like a lot of uncomfortability, if that's a fucking word, but can make people uncomfortable. And with eating, it might actually be pretty good. The edible might taste fucking good. You got a nice brownie, and that shit's smacking, and it's also getting you high. So I don't know. Eating it is a lot easier to just do than smoking, because with smoking it as well, you got to make sure you actually breathe it in right. Because I've seen many of people who don't smoke that try smoking weed, and they don't smoke at all, and they try smoking it, and basically like they're just cheeking it. And if they eat the edible though, like, there's no doubt you're gonna get all the THC out of that, versus them just cheeking it. So that, I guess, in a way is another pro. But let's move on to cons right now, I guess. So some cons of it is you need an oven, and that shit stinks. You try to make some can of butter, that shit's reeking, bro. And you need an available oven. It's not like you can just leave the crib, go pull up in the smoke spot, and do your thing. No, you got to have a fucking oven. You're not gonna bring an oven out to your smoke spot and shit to make edibles. So yeah, if you don't got an available oven, if you're not in that available situation, that can suck. and it's probably not even worth risking, because the whole kitchen, the whole house probably is gonna start stinking up for at least 12 hours, I would say, maybe a day. But that sucks with the edibles. With edibles, when you overdose, there's really no backing out of it. You're in for the ride, whether you want to or not. Versus smoking, though, if you were to smoke, like, you can kind of feel and gauge, like, all right, when you had enough, and when you had enough, you just say, like, oh, I'm good, versus the edibles, you ate fucking 4 brownies, and your ass is fucking tweaking now. There's no backing out at this fucking point, bro. That's the thing, like, that shit could happen. Just eating too many. I've eaten too many before, and you can start to feel sick and stuff, and just get a stomach ache and shit like that. And it's not the greatest high. It can just be you probably just want to sleep it off. You don't really feel that great, is basically what end up happening when you take way too many edibles at once. You'll probably just want to sleep it off, and the high probably won't even be that rememberable, because you're just kind of faded out due to this. And yeah, I mean, there's that. Also, with the edible con, there is the come up. So this is kind of annoying, but I guess it's more of a personal thing. I guess it does depend on the person. Some people are more patient with it. But versus smoking, if you were to smoke it, you're gonna feel that shit, like, pretty much in 10-15 seconds, if that. And with an edible, though, you gotta eat that bitch, and you're just sitting and waiting, like, at least I guess, depends if you eat anything before. I guess 40 minutes, between 40 minutes and up to 2 hours, possibly. Probably 30 minutes up to 2 hours. It really does depend on the person and, like, their metabolism, things like that. But typically for me, I'm around the 50-minute to hour mark. But when I'm on an empty stomach, I could have it around 40 minutes. But yeah, after I eat the edible, I'm all excited and shit. But then it's just, alright, waiting. And it's something that happens to me quite a bit. I feel very similar about this, like on acid, for example. I just kind of, alright, I took the fucking tab. Now we just gotta fucking wait. And that's just the little con, versus when you just smoke it, you're gonna feel that shit right away, and you're gonna, hit your sweet spot and shit, whatever, get you right. Another pro for edibles, though, is they're kind of more easier to hide in a way. If you're trying to, just get some edibles. Okay, let's say you got, I don't know, 10 edibles. You put that shit in the bag, and it's just a lot easier to hide and then share amongst your friends, for example. Because when you smoking, okay, let's say the edibles are cooked, after they're cooked and shit, and you have to go somewhere, and you just do edibles. But versus if you were to smoke, that shit could smell, and it might attract some unwanted attention from, I don't know, the police or something, possibly, if you don't have a good spot or some shit, or the people in that spot or around that spot, whoever lives there. I don't know if it's by houses. Depends on your smoke spot, I guess. But yeah, they smell that smoke. There might be some beef going on. Some people don't take that shit. Some people call the cops. Some people don't give a fuck. So it really does depend on the situation you are in with your smoke spots and shit. But yeah, like, there would be people who would bring fucking edibles to school, for example, and that's a lot easier to pass around I don't know, a dealer, for example, sells edibles instead, because, motherfuckers really don't try to be smoking in the school. I mean, there are still people who will smoke in the fucking bathroom and shit, but, they don't really want to take that risk if they don't have to. And people seem to be more down for edibles as well when they hear, oh, this dude's selling edibles, not just weed, because they don't gotta go smoke it. They can take it whenever, basically, in school. It's just a lot more convenient. So that would be another pro for the edibles. But another pro for the edibles would be it's healthier. It's I guess way more healthier than smoking. I don't know about vaping. I haven't done my research too deep into that, but like I said, vaping, another video. But yeah, edibles are much more healthier than smoking. Now, combustion causes these carcinogens to be released, and it doesn't matter if you're smoking blunts, joints, fucking anything you can combust. That's basically going to cause carcinogens, which are known to lead to some unwanted health effects later down the road, basically. And edibles won't cause that. Now, edibles are no smoke. You eat it. It's more natural, and it just seems a lot healthier too than smoking. Because let's be real. I mean, smoking, it's not naturally. I guess it's not the most natural thing to do, even though there have been fucking people that have been smoking all different types of shit for a long time, especially when you consider looking at it from an anthropological point of view. But we haven't really evolved into a smoking type of species that can handle that necessarily. It's not really meant to be for us as of yet, at least. But yeah, edibles, yeah, that's natural. It's just eating. Survivable. That's a survival fucking mechanism we have. Eating. We're hungry. Shit. But I got another negative for the edibles, actually. So if some of you might not make the best decisions, though, you might have a drug test. Okay, and now this might be for something like probation. This might be something for a job, but you guys still wanna get your high. Even though I don't recommend this when you got a drug test, just stay away and play it safe. Some of you still want to toke up, whatever, maybe eating that, what get your high, get you right and shit. With edibles, I believe they last around a week, but they stay along. I believe they stay in your system a lot longer, and versus just smoking, I believe edibles are just harder to remove from the body, to remove that detection of the THC in the urine, and that could suck. So that's a con of edibles. I know it just because even just looking at it and making sense of it, it takes longer to hit. It has a longer duration, so it's going to just stay in your system for a longer time versus if you were to smoke. And things like what type of drug tests do come into play, and we won't get into each one, but for the most part, based off what I've seen, edibles will screw you harder over for a drug test than if you were just to smoke. Like, you would have a way better chance of just smoking like a few days